welcome to Honest Car Reviews. My name is Eric, and this week I have a very special car for you. It is the Volvo V60 T8 Inscription. It is, in other words, the most luxurious V60 that you can get, and the most powerful, apart from the engineered by Polestar. So what does T8 stands for? Well, it stands for twin engine, and 8 doesn't stand for cylinders, as it did before with the T5, the 5-cylinder. It is the twin engine, 400 combined horsepower, 320 horsepower from the petrol engine, and 80 from the electric engine, and 250 newton meters from the electric engine. So the combined torque output is 640 newton meters, which means that this car goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just over 5 seconds. It is a really rapid car, but it's also a very heavy car. So the V60, it is the smaller brother of the V90. So the most noticeable change compared to the V90 is the shorter rear. T8 Inscription twin engine and all-wheel drive. So this car is an all-wheel drive car. It is the most Swedish car there is. It's the most Volvo there is. It is the, when you have reached somewhere in your life, you buy this car. It is the Inscription. It is the most luxurious Volvo V60 that you can get. So what do you get with the Inscription? Well, you get the double tailpipes. So this is not really the tailpipes, they are actually inside. I don't know if you can see. And you also get these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spoked alloy wheels. And they are 235s at the front. And let's see if I can check how wide they are at the rear. They are also 235s. And you get some chrome inlets at the front here. And you get the chromed and vertical grille. And that is the most prevalent, according to me, the chrome in the front. It really sets it apart. I mean, it's not overly done. I mean, a Volvo is not supposed to be braggy and flashy. It's supposed to fit in while still being more than something else. I also love, I mean, it's sunset now in Sweden. It's really beautiful. It really suits the car. The metallic white paint, which costs around 1,000 euros, you can see the creases in the hood. I mean, really suits this car. It is really beautiful. It's a beautiful looking car. Is it worth 70,000 euros though? There's the question. So with the Inscription you get the Volvo logo inserts here, and you get the Inscription seats ventilated. The ventilation is extra option, but with the Inscription you get leather clad seats, and these are also very special, these seats, because they have massage in them. And with the Inscription you also get this Auraforce crystal gear lever that's bigger compared to the 2019 generations of Volvos. So I'm inside, and the first thing that you will notice is the lack of space, because the batteries are inside the tunnel and it goes like a T, so it goes straight and then at the rear it splits, which means that, I mean, you see, this is the space that you have, and you have some space at the doors as well, and they are actually clad with some sort of fabric. Volvo has an attention to detail, it's really impressive. And with the Inscription, this is clad in the dark, the black, so to speak. Yesterday I used around 3 liters per 100 kilometers, but then I had to charge the battery. And this is the infotainment system, and the screen itself really clear, but it's a bit scattered. You have your navigation, which works fine, and you have the Bluetooth, what you're connected, and to connect your phone. And then you also have the settings for the sound system. So you have studio, individual scene, and concert hall, and that's the Gothenburg concert hall. So it's tuned, the sound system is tuned to sound like a concert hall, the Gothenburg concert hall, which is pretty cool. I have to say one thing, or a couple of things that was surprised about in a more negative way, and that is, so when you start the car or just stop the car, there's some sounds coming from everywhere. I mean, there's some pump that sounds, and then the battery fan goes on, and a lot of that goes into the coupe, and you don't really know what's happening. It's just a lot of sounds, which can be a bit annoying actually sometimes. And as I noticed, I can actually show you right now, just really quickly, when you open and close the rear tailgate, which I have to add, with Inscription is electrically operated. With both the key, you can press a button on the key to close and open it, and you also have, you open for tailgate here, and you can just do it with your foot. So just press it down, or you can just see if I can do it here. It doesn't really work. Sometimes it works, it's a bit untrustworthy. As you can see here, you should be able to do this, but just yeah, when it's closed. But when you here to close this one, do you hear that? I don't know if there's been some dust coming in, but that doesn't sound right quality. So inside the car I spoke about some extra options, and also were the sound system. And they also have sunroof, which is electric operated, which can only be operated when you start the engine, which I understand. So you just press that backwards, and then you have a really big sunroof. Plus, you can do one thing more, and that is to open it up. So you get some sort of cabriolet feeling, and then you have some fabric here, so it won't be as windy. And just one press of button. Really, really cool. And as I said, the seats are perforated, so they are a bit more expensive as well. We'll start in the hybrid mode, and then press away the parking brake. And to go from, now I'm in park, so to go to drive I have to do 1, 2, or to go to reverse 1, 2. So it's not gear selector that you can just pull into the desired to drive or whatever. And there you can hear that the front wheels were dragging for the most part. So this is mostly front wheel drive, and then you could hear that you can hear the front wheels turning, and then the rear wheels were engaging with four-wheel drive. So it's predominantly front wheel drive, but as I said before, you have constant all-wheel drive as well. I have to say a big letdown is the gear shift or the gearbox itself. As I'm driving now, it works fine because it does what it needs to do in order to be as efficient as possible. But if you need to accelerate and press your foot completely down, it takes, I mean, a second to start accelerating. But because of the instant torque from the electric engine, when you just press it a bit, you get the direct torque from the electric engine. If I'm in power, it's even more prevalent. So just by pressing it, I mean 10%, and the electric engine is really helping to move along. One thing I also found a bit cheap was the accelerator pedal. I don't know if you can hear this, but it sounds, I mean, I don't know if you can hear it, but it doesn't sound good. It sounds like plastic against plastic. Beautiful, beautiful sunset here in Sweden. No, not a lot of rain, and in a beautiful car. The car is beautiful. You have the cruise control, which is adaptive. So just set the speed, and then you can set the distance with these two buttons. How close? This is really close, and this is far away. We used to have in the middle. So it's really simple, really usable. And then on the right here, you have to change track and to increase and decrease your volume. One thing that is also a bit annoying is to control your temperature, or the temperature inside. And you do this by pressing the infotainment screen. And maybe you want to go to 22. It's almost impossible to not look and press on the right number. So I have to really look. No, it's 22.5. No, shit, now it's 22. And I have now spent 2 or 3 seconds looking at the screen and not on the road. It is rather a bad system. They should have a physical layout, or just some buttons next to the screen. That would also be really nice to just, I could feel, oh, this is plus, this is minus. As you said, it's pretty dangerous. Petrol engine has 320. The car weighs a lot, so you get that big mass going forward and going against physics, and it's an amazing feeling. But a 300 combined output charge hybrid, or even a 250, or I mean 100 horsepower petrol engine and 200 or 100 horsepower electric engine, that sounds logical. But a powerful engine as this, you have the T6, which is a combined output of around 320 if I'm not mistaken. I mean, that's still a lot of power, and it would be nice to have a choice of an example of that I just mentioned. There are coming mild hybrid engines, the B5, the B60. It would be nice to have a longer range middle powered engine. Car and how it works is amazing, and that's what you would expect for 70,000 euros. Personally, I think I would go for the T6, because this car is not a sporty car, and to say that this car has 320 horsepower from a petrol engine doesn't feel like. And as I've seen on different tests when they've compared it to BMW 330es, for example, it has been kind of left in the dust. Regarding sport, my final verdict for the Volvo V60, it is a piece of Swedish magic, steel, ingenuity and design. It feels like 70,000 euros. It feels every bit amount of that money. But I personally wouldn't get the T8. I would go for the T6 Inscription, because this car doesn't need that amount of power, and that amount of power is not possible with this low gearbox. I have felt the Volvo magic, and with the introduction of the Recharge brand, this car is a recharge now. When you try to buy the car or build the car on the internet, it will be on the recharge section. And of course, you have all the safety options that comes with a Volvo. A Volvo often has a higher standard specification, even though it's a bit more expensive, so you get a lot of more as a standard option. I'm interested to see what Volvo will show with the electrification, what they can do regarding the luxury department. I mean, they have the Polestar 1, which is their own brand, and the Polestar 2, and if they can implement that design and that electric technology into this, they will have a completely new beast that will compete with the highest segment in the German luxury department.